Hello everybody, today we're going to take a look at some battens that I have here. Okay, today we're going to take a look at the difference between a batten with a narrow chassis and a wide chassis. Okay, so all three of these that I have here are battens. Of course, they're made by these are made by Davis, Legrand, and Thomas and Betts. Okay, with the design. Okay, these two here are Davis's. This is a Legrand, but they're identical in design. Today we're going to talk about the difference between wide chassis and narrow chassis. Okay, now in an earlier video I showed you the weatherproof battens, okay, with the wide and narrow chassis. Okay, but now we're going to take a look at the standard non-weatherproof battens, okay, which are these here. Okay, now I don't have one of these in a triple version apparently to show you, but I do have a double, okay, and a single. Okay, now Davis did have a triple version, but unfortunately they don't make it anymore, so I'm going to have to find a way to get triple versions. So the only way to get one would be probably to just buy a double batten and cut extra holes in it. Okay, so that's really the only way to get it. Okay, so these are the battens here, and we're going to see what the differences are. Difference is colour, of course. I painted these up, but originally they were white. Okay, so this is the black light batten, this is the Eclipse batten, and that's the product red batten. Okay, so that's the differences in the colour. Shape, these two here have the same shape chassis, okay? This one here, the chassis is a little bit slimmer, but once again, it's a similar design. On the ends here, we have these knockouts here. If you can see that there, circle there for knocking out, so you can run a conduit in there. This little hole you see there is for end caps for diffusers and stuff like that, but these don't have it, of course. Well, of course, these have a switch, of course. I put those on there. They didn't come with the battens originally. We got ports on the side here. We got power out, which is this one here, and power in. Okay, they're just computer ports. If you remember from back in the very early, I used to have fixed cords on lights, but I don't anymore. I use removable cords because it's more tidy. Okay, there's no cable holders or anything like that protruding. Okay. This one I have the tube in it. These two I don't have the tube in. Maybe I'll just take this tube out of here so you can take a look. But this is the tube that I have in that Eclipse batten. This is one of those Vibe green tubes, LED. Okay. Now this one here is for LED only. There's no ballast in it. These two here are currently set to run LED and fluorescent. Okay, because I don't have any LED tubes in the red in that length as of yet. Okay, if I do get them, I will convert that to LED only, and this one here is black. I don't have any LED blacklight tubes as of yet, so I just have the fluorescence. Okay, so that's the only. If I want to use a blacklight, I have to use a fluorescent in it. I can use LED in it, but I can't use. It's just I have a regular white, green, pink, or yellow for right now. Another thing to note with these is that this Legrand batten here has a board-through plate, so you can see the starter there. These two here, the starters are actually concealed. So the older ones had the plate bored through, but these newer ones they don't, because they were originally electronically ballasted, so that's why. Okay, but if you see on the side here, you see these two screws here, that's the starter receptacle mounted on the side. Once again, it's the same, but we've got four of them because there's two receptacles. Okay, so these two here are primarily the subject of the video, but I bought the double one out to show that the wide chassis comes in a double, okay, and a triple version. Okay, now the narrow chassis in this only comes in a single. That's the same with the weatherproof battens. Okay, so it's single tube only, but there are narrow chassis battens available with in a double. Okay, made by different brands like Fawn. Okay, because the White Hawks come in double slim battens. Okay, Clevertronics had double slim battens available, Pier Light and all that. Okay, but so Davis does have a narrow chassis batten in a double available. Okay, which is a different range, but this is just their classic batten. Okay, I'm going to open these up to show you what's inside the chassis, but before I do, I guess we better take a look at the backs to see the difference. Now, the Davis battens have more holes on the back, as where the Legrands don't. They don't have many holes in them. This was originally an emergency batten, and I'll show you why, because if you look on this side, you see these two holes right there. Those two holes, that's for where the emergency button and stuff used to be. Okay, but since it's not emergency anymore, it doesn't have it. Now these battens are real fingerprint magnets. Okay, I only just repainted these and I've already got fingerprints all over them. Okay, so there you go. We got these wooden feet on the back of the battens here. It's there to stabilise them so they don't wobble around. Okay, and also with these screws protruding out the back of the chassis, it also helps them. We have the hole in the back. That's if you're running a cable in through the back. And there's all these extra holes in the Davis, and these holes here in the Davis are where the starter receptacle would screw into. Okay, so those there, and that's what the holes are in use on that one there. Okay. Alright, so I guess we'll open these up and we'll take a look inside. Okay, so the plates on these are held on by 2 screws on either side. Okay, some different brands of battens might only have 1 screw, some have 2, depends on the company that makes the fitting. Okay, so these battens do look very identical to my old Element battens. They're the ones that I had before I changed them to Davis battens. Okay, so they're still battens made in the same similar look, but nowadays they're LED. Okay, so we'll take this plate off of here. So that's the plate for the slim batten. This is the plate for the wide batten, as you can see the difference there. Okay, one's wide, one's narrow, so we'll just set those over here. Okay, so here's what's inside the chassis of the batten. And what I did was that when I put this back together, I was actually grabbed the wrong screw and I put it on the ballast. So I guess what I'll do is I'll quickly switch that over. Okay, just do that while I'm here. Okay, put the correct screw back in, because the screws that hold the plate on have a washer around them. Okay, there we go. Alright, so here's what's inside. So inside this Davis batten here, this slim batten, we have the switch. Now it's pretty hard to see inside because of the black paint, but I'm pretty sure you can see it. We have our power out port. We have the power in, if you can see there. We have the starter receptacle. Now I've got no starter in this one We have our terminal block, and of course we have our ballast. Okay, magnetic ballast. Okay, originally it was electronic, so that's what's inside there. Okay, so that's the slim one. Now this one, the Legrand, the terminal block's in a different spot. As you can see, it's right there instead of here. Then we have the starter receptacle, which is right here. We have our ports, power out and power in, the back of the switch. Now this one's got a white switch because Clipsal don't have these Architrave switches in the green. I wish they did, but apparently they don't. And of course we've got the lamp holders once again. Okay, and there's no ballast. There is no ballast because it's LED only. Okay, but these holes and stuff where all the emergency gear used to be. You can see the 2 holes here where the button and stuff used to be. And that's an original sticker. Okay, that just shows you how to wire it up. We have our blue, which is neutral, green earth, and brown, which is live. Okay, so that's all that's inside. Okay, now the wide chassis battens are commonly used for emergency purposes because they have this extra space to get the inverter and of course the battery in. Okay, especially in a maintained, you need to have the ballast. So if it's maintained, you need to have the ballast and the starter receptacle. So you've got to have room. Okay, so that's why they use the wide chassis for it. Okay, now the narrow chassis they don't use because there's not enough room. Of course, on the longer battens they use it because the batten's longer. Okay, so there's more room. But on these short ones they don't. They always use a wide chassis. Okay, so they get more space. Okay. But there is enough space inside this thing to fit all this, but I was just lucky to get all that in there. Okay, so this one here, it wasn't a problem. Now this one here has 2 ballasts. Okay, so there's 2 ballasts in that. Okay, so we have to have the extra space to fit it all in. Okay, so yeah, so that's a double batten anyway. With a double batten, especially in a maintained, you would need that extra space anyway. Okay, if it was a combined, non-maintained, sustained, you only have 1 ballast, so it probably wouldn't be much problem. Okay, but in non-maintained versions of these, they still use the wide chassis because they still can't get the gear in. Okay, because if they were to put the inverter there and the battery there, it wouldn't really work, really. Okay, so this was a non-maintained emergency batten originally. Okay, so we'll put these back together. So to put them back together, okay, well this one here, I can actually use that starter to line up the plate. Okay, as you can see, it lines up perfectly with the starter. Now for this one here, it doesn't matter which way I put the plate on, really, because there's no starter holes. Okay, that's one benefit of these newer ones. It doesn't matter which way you put the plate on. This one it does. Okay, because that starter hole's not in the centre. So this one you got to only goes on one way. As these 2 here, it doesn't matter which way you put it on. Okay, so that's one positive of concealed starters or battens with side starters, is that there's no holes in the plate and you can put the plate on either way. As with the board through ones, it can only go on one way. Okay, as with the Clevertronics ones, the double battens in the long version had the starter holes here and there. Okay, and it actually doesn't matter which way you put the plate on because the starters are in the same place. Well, it probably would, I guess, because of the screw caps that hold the plate on, because the little screw cap is not in the centre. So I guess that probably would matter. But if that was in the centre, it wouldn't matter. Okay, for those two there, it doesn't matter which way I put the plate on, but this one it does. Okay, once you've got your screws on, okay, they're held on with two screws. Now the longer battens, however, have a nut in the middle of them. Okay, so the longer ones, like the element battens, have a nut in the middle. Okay, so put this tube back in here. Okay, so that is technically all the difference. All the difference between a batten with a narrow chassis and a wide chassis. Okay, so they're both the same. Okay, they all operate the same way. Okay, they simply switch on and off. So on and off. Okay, they're LED or fluorescent. Okay, emergency or non-emergency, but they still do the job. Okay, this one here has holes in it. That's because there used to be a wire guard on it. Okay, and there are end caps available for this, but they've got two holes, so you use two screws to secure the end cap onto that. As with this one, you only use one screw per end. Okay, so that's the double batten. Okay, made by Davis. This is a cool batten, and I could actually both of these together. If I were to just run white tubes in them, okay, with the green and red chassis, that would make a Christmas theme, wouldn't it? Or I could use green tubes in that, okay, and the red body, or I could use a red tube in this and the green body, okay, and get the same Christmas colours. If you might remember the Christmas batten, I did that. Okay, so that is basically all there is. Okay, so if you have any questions, please feel free to comment and ask. Okay, if you want to see the weatherproof batten video, you can go back and find that. This is just your standard non-weatherproof. Okay, so that is it.